and welcome to Spenelli Speaks. Today is another Friday Reads. If you're just joining me, I am happy to have you here. I hope you stick around and hit that subscribe button and comment below. If you have been around the block a few times, welcome back to Friday Reads. I apologize for missing last week. Just a big jumble of things, really having fatigue after reading all of the Deborah Harkness books, as well as several doctor's appointments. The last couple of weeks have been like in and out of the doctor's office for myself, for my son, for my daughter. So nothing bad. Everything is good. Everything is going well, but just that time of the year, getting in and out for those things. But you don't want to hear about that. Let's talk about what I have been reading. So as you know, I was trying to finish Blue Asylum before September started, thinking I would jump in full force to shorty September, reading a bunch of short reads. That really hasn't happened, other than finishing Blue Asylum. So if you've been following me, you know this is a historical fiction set in Civil War times, and it revolves around a couple of people that are in an asylum in the coast of Florida, specifically Iris, and then there is a soldier who his name has left me. And then a little boy named Wendell, he's about 12, and then the asylum's psychiatrist. Again, his name has escaped me. But it really is more of Iris's story. She's sent to this asylum as a mad woman because she basically just defies her husband. We find out later that it revolves around the plantation that she is living on and the atrocities that are happening there. And to keep her quiet, she's sent to this asylum and she meets this soldier. I wish I remember his name, but I'm terrible about all of these things. Is it Ambrose? Yeah, Ambrose. And he's a Civil War soldier, and he is very much dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, which obviously was not a thing back then. So he is just not handling what he saw during the war. While I was reading this book, I was thinking, it's going to be like a 2.5, 3-star read. It's very slow. You're really just getting to know the characters. You're getting to know Iris and very slowly understanding what got her to the asylum. You're getting to know Ambrose a little bit, but what you're seeing is within his madness, you're seeing what happened to him in the war. You're seeing the doctor's point of view in correlation with the patients, which he is just someone you don't really care to know. He's just a fool is the best and kindest word I can use for him. And then you also see the point of view of the young boy who is the psychiatrist's son. I apologize if I didn't mention that. And his understanding of what's happening around him and how it affects him. Now, like I said, it all goes very slow. And then something very important happens with two of the characters, and you know as soon as this happens that based on the rest of the book, and it feels like foreshadowing, you know it's not going to end well. And all of a sudden, when this big thing happens that's supposed to be good, and I don't want to give too much away, so I apologize if I'm sounding very vague, but you just know it can't be good. And that's the point of the book where I pushed it right into a 4-star. It really started to all come together and really give a true account of like, this is probably how this would happen. And it was so sad. It's so tragic. It's not a happy ending, but when it all comes together and you read the last page, it deserves 4 stars. So if you like historical fiction set in the Civil War, I highly recommend this. It very much reminded me of a nonfiction read I read a couple years ago by Nellie Bly, where she infiltrates the asylum. I think it was in New York, and the accounts there mimic a lot of what I saw in this. So I wonder if the author took some inspiration from that story, because it's very much it very much felt closely related. So like I said, I recommend this. I thought it was a good story. It's tragic. It does not end in a happy ending, but it was lovely. It was a nice slow read. I'm glad I didn't try to like rush through it. I have been reading this for a couple of months just on the go, like when I had time. And I thought it was very good. It was vivid. The imagery is very much a forefront of the read. So I thought it was a very good. As you saw on Instagram, if you follow me there, I tried to start reading Macbeth. And this has never happened to me before. I literally cannot read my copy of Macbeth. It makes me sick. And I'll tell you why. It smells so bad. Like, but as I was trying to read it during my sprints with DoubleBookedCo. It smells good in the sense of like, that old book smell, right? But it's also so bad. Like, it's so intense. It's like that mildewy, that bookish mildewy smell. It's so intense that it was literally making me sick. So I have not picked that back up. Like, it's like making me sick right now thinking about it. That's how intense the smell was. So I might have to unhaul that book or recycle it, because I don't think anyone would be well reading that. So I may listen to it instead on my Hoopla account, because I'm sure there's a plethora of copies on Hoopla. So I may just listen to it as it is a play. So it's meant to be, acted or performed. So I might try to do that instead. So I probably won't finish reading that script. But as far as the other shorties that I meant to read that I showed you in that previous Friday reads, I haven't touched any of them, which is crazy because I really was like, oh, maybe I'll even get like one a day. Nope. Nope. Because Instagram, excuse me, I saw an Instagram reel that totally coerced me, twisted my arm to this whole series of like smut, which, I mean, I contemplated even saying this on my channel because I don't really talk about the books that I read that are like smutty. I mean, sometimes when it's funny, like the Jane Eyre book or the Wuthering Heights book, that's different. But so I saw this reel on Instagram, and it was like, oh, a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and then it had a line from it, and I was like, dang, that's an interesting line. So I found it on my Hoopla, so it's free to me. I didn't have to pay anything, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. And what it is, so on the Instagram reel, it was All He'll Ever Be by Willow Winters. So if you're familiar with smutty books and this author, I'm pretty sure that's all they write is smut. And if you're not familiar with smut it's like 3 levels above romance as far as the steaminess, because it goes full bore into it. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's what it is. So the book was called All He'll Ever Be. Well, it turns out that is the compilation of 4 books that are in this particular piece of the puzzle, because, oh my gosh, rabbit hole. This goes way farther, because in this book there is 4 brothers, and in this particular foursome, of books. It's about Carter, and he's like a drug lord, and he has 3 other brothers. And at first I thought, oh, 4 books, it's going to be 1 book about each of these brothers. No, this is 4 books just about this Carter and his love interest, which okay, we'll call it that. And I thought, but then the rabbit hole is there's one for Jace, there's one for Declan, and there's one for Daniel. Plus, there's one, and I'm not saying 1 book, I'm saying series. And then there's one for like the villain, and there's one for like this random guy that's, I think, in the book I remember reading, but I think he's more now coming into Jace. It's like rabbit hole of smut. Am I going to dive into that rabbit hole? Probably. Am I going to be like giddy to read the next one? No, because they're not good. I'm going to put it out there. They're not good. Why are you reading it, Dani? Why did you read 1,000 pages? That's what my fire said, that it was 1,000 pages. I read 1 book a night. That's how easy it is to read, because they're not good. It's just like regurgitated scenes over and over again with no serious plot line. I mean, again, why are you reading this, Dani? I can't not. I can't stop. It's like an addiction. But anyway, so the Carter is this like drug lord, but so he's the beast, and he like takes hostage this woman whose name is like gone. I can't even think of her name. That's how good this book is. I can't even think of their names anymore. I want to say it's something with it. Aria. It's Aria. And she's another drug lord's daughter, and he like takes her for the dumbest reason I've ever heard in my life, and I can't even explain it because it's so dumb. And it's just, it's oh my gosh, it's terrible. But it's so terrible, I have to keep reading it because I want to know what happens. But like, you don't know what time era it is. You don't know if it's dystopian. You don't know where it is. Like, at one point they say something about Jersey, and I'm like, oh, well, are you in like, where are you? And it's just, and to me, like, because I'm a serious reader. So like, I want to know these things. I want to know, like, why, where, how, when, and all it really is like garbage, 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 smut, garbage, 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 smut, 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 garbage, garbage, smut, garbage, smut. That's pretty much all the books. So like, again, there's 4 books, so it's like Merciless, Heartless, Breathless, Endless. Like, those are the names of these books. And then all together, they're All He'll Ever Be is a Monster, I guess, is what is meant to be, like that. Like, All He'll Ever Be is a Monster. I don't know. But I will probably move on to the next story, which is the brother story. Because that's kind of how or where the Endless kind of curtailed into his story. So I will probably go because it seems like there's like a little bit of an underlying plot that I might be interested in. So anyways, enough about that crap. I gave it like anywhere from 2 to 3 stars on my Goodreads if you're that interested. I also listened to Elizabeth I by Abigail Archer. I know, did you see how I just like segued from smut to a queen? Hello, I do these things on purpose. Abigail Archer is the author of that. I listened to it on my Hoopla. It was only 3 hours long. So to me, that means that it is a very, very small read, very short. So maybe a shorty. I was underwhelmed by the read. I did get information from it, but I'm really looking for something that is a little bit more involved, more in-depth. And I know that I could probably find something. I know I have stuff on my shelf, but I was looking for an audio book while I was doing something else. And Hoopla really didn't have a lot to offer. I might try Libby again and see, but I haven't really found anything that looks like is what I'm looking for. So I might just have to physically read the books that I do have. I know, such atrocity of myself. But anywho, those are the things that I have been reading. I did just start Nora Roberts' The Reef. If you've been following along, you know that that is the September book for DoubleBookedCo. If you're interested at all in reading with us, our live discussion for that book is the last Tuesday of the month, which I believe is like the 24th or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's in 2 weeks time. Tuesday. It's always the last Tuesday of the month. So if you're interested, you can do that. I'm not very far in. I'm like haven't even finished like the first chapter. So I've read the prologue and then into the first chapter. So I don't really have I mean, it sounds like it's treasure hunters and there's been a death and that's not a spoiler. It's literally like in the first sentence of the prologue. So and I think it's going to be about that. And there's like a curse, Angelique's curse. So I'm feeling it's going to be a little supernatural, which will be fun. And yeah, so I start reading that. I do also want to get into another book that Laura from Book Bubbler and I, she was interested in reading. I can't remember, something Nanreath Hall. The Secrets of Nanreath Hall. Pretty sure that's what it's called. I can't remember the author right now. Maybe I'll put a picture here. But I will probably start that today because she's ready to start that today as well. So I have a lot of books like going. I'm going to stop with the smut for a little bit because I want to read these other books. And I mean, the smut's just garbage. So, yeah. Learn a little something about me, I guess. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been reading. As you can tell, if you're new here, I read a little bit of everything. So that's what it is. What's coming up? Like I said, The Reef, Nanreath Hall, and then I do want to get into the next book of that tea and mystery book by Laura Childs, because that is coming up available to me on Libby. So I do want to kind of read that too, but I think that'll come towards the end of the month. So that's all you're going to see from me. I know this was a little bit longer, but clearly I needed to get some garbage out of my head and out to you. So let me know in the comments what you're reading, what you're looking forward to, if you've been smashing Shorty September. And we'll catch up again next week. Until then, I hope you're reading something fantastic, taking care, staying safe, and as always, you know how it goes.